Hello everyone, my name is Lexi and this is my separation anxiety presentation. Separation anxiety disorder. This condition is a type of anxiety disorder which involves an excessive amount of fear or anxiety related to being separated from attachment figures, for example, parents, guardians, safe environments. People are often familiar with the idea of separation anxiety as it relates to young children's fear of being apart from their parents, but older children and adults can experience it as well. The person experiencing these symptoms may avoid moving away from home, going to school, or getting married in order to remain in proximity of their attachment figure. Anxiety explained a little further. Anxiety describes an uncomfortable emotional state characterized by inner turmoil and dread over anticipated future events. Anxiety is closely related and overlaps with fear, a response to perceived and actual threats. Anxiety often results in nervousness, rumination, pacing, and somatization. Every human experiences anxiety because it is an involved behavioral response to prepare an individual to detect and deal with threats. Anxiety becomes pathological when it is so overwhelming that there is persistent distress, a decrease in quality of life, and impairment in regular major life activities. Separation anxiety, or SAD, is one of the most common childhood anxiety disorders. SAD involves significant distress when the child is unexpectedly separated from home or a close attachment figure. SAD is an exaggeration of otherwise developmentally normal anxiety and manifests as excessive concerns, worry, and even dread of the actual or anticipated separation from an attachment figure or home. This is a snippet of my full text article about methods used to determine and furthermore treat diagnosis. This is a list of symptoms that people may experience who have separation anxiety. This is a table that was in the Introduction of Psychology textbook in chapter 12 that talks about different types of anxiety disorders and the percentage affected and the number affected roughly each year. In my first abstract, it talks about comparative effectiveness and safety of cognitive behavioral therapy and pharmacotherapy for childhood anxiety disorders. Childhood anxiety treatments are evaluated for effectiveness. There are multiple methods tried every day, but a couple methods mentioned in this article are cognitive behavior therapy and pharmacotherapy. In the end, the result of the study was that through examinations of multiple studies and their data, a conclusion was drawn. With the combination of CBT and pharmacotherapy, symptoms of childhood anxiety reduces over time. In my second abstract, Epidemiology of Anxiety Disorders in the 21st Century. Anxiety disorders are very common and can stem from lots of different factors. Up to 33.7% of the largely surveyed population has collected data stating the immense amount of people affected. Lots of times, under-recognition and misdiagnosed treatment can cause the deeper issue to be unresolved. Since there is so much diversity, it seems to be based on different research methods that cannot always be generalized, hence the need to study different patterns. However, anxiety disorders tend to fade into older adulthood. Anxiety disorders are related to other diseases that are present after death. Anxiety is comorbid to other pathological disorders. In my third abstract, it talks about canine separation anxiety, strategies for treatment and management. Dogs with separation-related behavior problems tend to engage in negative and/or destructive behavior, which can include destruction of property or self-harm. Unfortunately, the type of distress that is caused affects both the owner and the dog. This can lead to surrendering the pet or worse, euthanasia. Dogs that seem to be affected more commonly are adolescent males. The successful treatment that has been tried and tested to be true is behavior modification that includes systematic desensitization, as well as counter-conditioning that can be provided by a veterinarian prescribing anti-anxiety medications. Owners may be able to prevent the development of canine separation anxiety, but if their dog does develop, the problem may be reduced or eliminated through an owner-administered program of behavior modification, supplemented in the early stages with medication. And this is a list of my references for my full text article and for my 3 abstracts.